What discipline in social science primarily focuses in the study of society, social institutions, and social relationships?
Sociology.
What discipline in social science focuses in the study of humankind using facts, hypothesis, and theories?
Anthropology.
What discipline in social science focuses in the study of politics, power, and government?
Political science.
What are the three major theoretical perspectives in sociology?
1. Symbolic interactionism. 2. Functionalism. 3. Conflict theory.
What theoretical perspective in anthropology discusses and highlights functional theory of stratification?
Structural functionalism.
What subfield that studies the interface of politics and economics? It aims to create a plan to develop programs that would be sufficient and adequate to societies.
Public policy.
What subfield studies classical and modern politics? This aims to discover what theory suits the characteristic of good politics.
Political theory.
What subfield studies politics among nations? Conflict, diplomatic affairs, and international laws is being studied.
International relation.
What subfield studies how laws are made and being applied on a certain nation or state?
Constitutional law.
What subfield studies the politics within other nation? This tries to compare theories on a specific nation to other.
Comparative politics.
What are the goals of sociology?
1. Describe the structure, function, and patterns of human social behavior. 2. Explain the causes and effects of human social behavior. 3. Predict the development of human social behavior.
What are the goals of political science?
1. Ensuring the integrity and stability of a social community. 2. Implementation of all relevant social need and claims. 3. Mobilization and efficiency of public activity. 4. Management and regulation of certain social community.
What are the goals of anthropology?
1. Understand uniqueness and diversity. 2. Discover fundamental similarities.
In Port-au-Prince, a city where democratic form of government exists, how do leaders acquire their political power?
Through election.
Who was the philosopher famously described humans as political animals?
Aristotle.
Who is credited with inventing the term sociology?
Auguste Comte.
Who wrote the Communist Manifesto, a foundational text for socialist and communist thought?
Karl Marx.
Which anthropologist is considered the father of American anthropology?
Franz Boas.
What are the nature of sociology?
1. Sociology is a social science, not a physical science. It concentrates on man, his social behavior, social activities, and social life. 2. It is a pure science. It aims to provide knowledge about human society. 3. Sociology is the generalizing and not a particularizing science. 4. Sociology is a general science, not a special science. It is concerned with human interaction and human life in general.
What are the nature of anthropology?
1. Anthropology is the study of humankind in all times and places. 2. It involves the careful and systematic study of humankind using facts, hypothesis, and theories. 3. It is concerned with other cultures' languages, values, and achievements in the arts and literature. 4. Anthropology is committed to experiencing other cultures.
What are the nature of political science?
1. Political science by nature is a social science that deals with humans and their interactions. 2. As a branch of sociology, it essentially deals with the large-scale actions of humans and group mentality. 3. It is a soft science, in contrast with things like chemistry and biology, meaning that studies tendencies and actions in people which cannot be easily quantified or examined.
What are the goals of political science?
1. Ensuring the integrity and stability of a social community. Point 2. Implementation of all relevant social need and claims. Point 3. Mobilization and efficiency of public activity. Point 4. Management and regulation of certain social community.
You are a small business owner in the Philippines trying to get a permit for your new shop. You've been going back and forth with the local government office for weeks, but they keep asking for more paperwork and delaying the process. One day, a government official approaches you and suggests that a small donation might expedite the process. What is this official suggesting you do?
Bribing.
What are the social dynamics of Filipinos?
1. Pakikasama. Point 2. Utang nalog. Point 3. Family-oriented culture. Point 4. Haya, shame, kakahiya, embarrassment. Point 5. Bayanihan and community spirit. Point 6. Hospitality and warmth. Point 7. Manners and respect. Point 8. Religion and spirituality. Point 9. Colonial influences.
Which English anthropologist is credited with first defining culture as a complex whole?
Edward Burnett Tyler.
What concept emphasizes understanding a culture on its own terms without making judgments based on your own cultural background?
Cultural relativism.
What is the term for judging other cultures based on your own cultural standards?
Ethnocentrism.
What is ethnocentrism?
Ethnocentrism is the tendency to view your own culture as superior and to judge other cultures by its standards. It's a way of thinking that assumes your own cultural values, beliefs, and practices are a right or a normal way to do things, and that other cultures are somehow deficient or wrong.
What is xenocentrism?
Xenocentrism is the belief that another culture is superior to your own.
Think of it this way. Ethnocentrism. My culture is the best, and all other cultures are inferior. Xenocentrism. Their culture is better than mine, and my culture is lacking. What is xenophobia?
Xenophobia is the intense dislike or fear of foreigners or strangers.
What are the characteristics of cultures?
1. Dynamic, flexible, and adaptive. Point 2. Shared and may be challenged. Point 3. It is learned. Point 4. Integrated. Point 5. Pattern social interaction. Point 6. Transmitted through socialization/enculturation. 7. Requires language and other forms of communication.
The following statements are characteristics of culture except?
It gratifies human needs.
Which characteristic of culture best explains why Filipino people are generally hospitable?
Culture is shared.
What are the elements of culture?
1. Beliefs. Point 2. Values. Point 3. Symbols. Point 4. Language. Point 5. Technology.
Material culture, visible and tangible. Examples: bridge, road, pottery, church, museum, patayong, bahagi, barot saya, table, paintings, nipa hut, motorcycle. Non-material culture, intangible or without physical representation. Examples: pagmamano, fiesta, birthday, foundation, celebration, bayanihan, pakikasama, haya, padopio, utang na loob, pamamanhikan, language. What cultural function is highlighted by the expectation in the Philippines that individuals should finish their education to secure a good job and support their family?
Culture defines attitudes, values, and goals.
Which type of group typically exerts the strongest pressure for conformity among its members?
Secondary group.
What type of social status is given to someone at birth, with little to no control over it?
Ascribed status.
A young woman is born into a wealthy family and inherits a large fortune. She is automatically granted access to exclusive social circles and opportunities. What type of social status does this illustrate?
Ascribed status.
Ascribed status refers to a social position that is assigned to an individual at birth or involuntarily later in life. It is based on characteristics that individuals have little or no control over, such as race, gender, ethnicity, family background, and disability. What are the types of social group?
1. Primary group. Point 2. Secondary group. Point 3. In-group. Point 4. Out-group.
What is primary group?
These are small, intimate groups characterized by close, personal, and enduring relationships. They are often face-to-face, with strong emotional bonds and a sense of belonging. Examples include families, close friends, and childhood playmates.
What is secondary group?
These groups are larger, more impersonal, and formed to achieve specific goals. They often have formal structures and less emotional connection. Examples include workplaces, clubs, or organizations.
What is in-group?
This refers to any group that an individual identifies with and feels a sense of belonging to. It's a group where an individual feels a sense of us versus I them.
What is out-group?
This refers to any group that an individual does not identify with and may feel a sense of opposition towards. It's the group where an individual feels a sense of a them versus us.
Which group is typically perceived as other or different or outsider by members of the in-group?
Out-group.
Which of Charles Cooley's theories explains how our interactions with others shape our sense of self?
Looking-glass self.
What is the term for an act that breaks the law?
Crime.
Do agricultural societies have a nomadic lifestyle?
No, agricultural societies do not have a nomadic lifestyle.
Pastoral societies are primarily focused on herding animals for sustenance and survival. While they might engage in some limited agriculture, they don't heavily rely on growing crops. Pastoral societies are relied on the domestication of animals, semi-nomad. People followed their herd of animals, and it has a larger population than hunting and gathering societies. What are the reasons why symbolism sometimes fails to be effective?
Cultures have diverse symbolic meanings. Or different cultures assign different meanings to symbols.
Society have a generalized set of standards, values, and norms. People unconsciously follow these in their everyday lives. What would you conclude from this?
Every single action of ours is controlled by society.
You are affiliate in Lazada?
Economic practice.
You engage in online selling.
Economic practice.
Political candidates always try to debate on television.
Political practice.
What type of society is most closely associated with the widespread use of machinery and the concept of mass production?
Industrial society.
What type of society is characterized by a hierarchical system of land ownership, where a powerful elite controls vast estates and grants land, used to lesser nobles in exchange for loyalty and service?
Feudal society.
What type of society exists primarily within online spaces and is characterized by interactions, relationships, and communities formed through digital platforms?
Virtual society.
You prefer Korean dramas over Filipino dramas. What is this behavior called?
Xenocentrism.
Cultural relativism is the idea that a person's beliefs, values, and practices should be understood based on their own culture, not judged by the standards of another culture. It emphasizes that there is no universal standard for what is right or wrong, and that each culture should be respected on its own terms.
Example scenario of cultural relativism. Point 1. You appreciate different foods of other country. Point 2. You're traveling in a country where it's customary to greet people with a bow, rather than a handshake. You might feel awkward or even disrespectful if you try to shake someone's hand, even though that's your usual greeting.
Who is credited with writing the seminal work that revolutionized our understanding of evolution on the origin of species by means of natural selection?
Charles Darwin.
Which species of Homo is known as the wise man in the theory of evolution?
Homo sapiens.
Which Homo species is known as the handyman in the theory of evolution?
Homo habilis.
Which extinct human species is closely related to modern humans and lived in Europe and Asia during the Pleistocene epoch?
Neanderthal.